What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. MLB DFS video. We are breaking down the Sunday night baseball game. So it's been a minute since we've had one of these videos, but you guys have requested it. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So we've got the Mets at the Phillies. We've got Sunday night baseball. We've got Luzardo versus Peterson. We've got the superstars out there. We had a huge game out of the Mets yesterday. Let's check out what we need to do. So here's what we're going to do. If you've never been to the video or this channel, if you've never subscribed before, you're in for a treat. I've already broken down every other game on the slate besides this game in today's full breakdown video. It's a 50-minute video. It is a little bit longer, but it is very informative for you. So if you want to check it out, I will link it here at this end of this video. So we try to have giveaways in those videos, so go check out everything else there. So what we're going to do is we've already done 10,000 simulations in the background. We're going to use all of our tools from FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, from our matchup tool to our Vegas odds. We're going to check everything out, and we're trying to build you guys some lineups here. So we're going to go through, we're going to break down games. We're going to look at BVP historical. We're going to use outlier. We're going to build lineups, both Fanduel and DraftKings. So if you do like this video and you want to see this series continue on Sundays, please let me know down below. If this video right here gets 100 likes, I will give away a 1-month pass of FTA+. So that is a pass for all sports, current sports. We've got MLB, NASCAR, PGA, and MMA. We still have our Father's Day special going on, so it's $10 a week for all sports, everything we offer, $30 a month, or our Father's Day special for the yearly pass, normally $199. You can get it for $75 if you email me today, dfshelp1@gmail.com. So just kind of looking at the ballpark factors real quick to see what the weather is going to be doing in this ballpark. We're good. There's no rain. The weather should not be a factor outside of it being very hot and humid, the wind blowing out, and it has currently the best odds for home runs. 53% chance for home runs in this game, 9% for doubles and triples, minus 6% for singles, and 23% for runs scored in this game. So generally, we like to see pitchers in the MVP spot for DraftKings. They obviously are the ones that are out there the most if the game goes well for them. Today might be the exception to that rule. We're still going to break it down. We're still going to look at it. We'll still have a choice whether or not you want to build some line. So we'll probably build like what we did for, if you've been with us for football, when we did Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, we went through everything. We looked at the statistics, and then we went ahead and built some lineups. So 3 to 4 lineups, just depending on how it's going to go. Now, we are going to go through here. If you have any questions, get those down below. We have a free Discord as well. So Peterson versus Luzardo. David Peterson, obviously, being in the same division, they see each other a ton. Peterson, 145 plate appearances in his career, a 262 batting average, striking out 23.4% of the Philly batters that he has faced. With Luzardo, on the other hand, 117 plate appearances, 22.2 K percentage, only a 6% walk rate, and a 259 batting average to go along with a 314 WOBA. So let's take a look at both of these pitchers right now. Peterson comes in with a 2.6 ERA, 5-2 record, 74 strikeouts. Splits-wise, he's already faced Philly once this year, went 5.1 innings, gave up 8 hits, only 2 earned runs. The problem was he only had 2 strikeouts. He only got 6.6 fantasy points in that game. So not ideal. Obviously, you need a ton more fantasy points than that. And especially if they're your MVP or they're your captain, that's a problem as well. DraftKings, you play with your pitchers. FanDuel, you do not use pitchers. So that's the big difference there, besides the pricing and the scoring. So then you look at Peterson on the road. He does have a worse ERA, a 3.08 ERA on top of that. So we put all of those factors together. The wind blowing out, the weather scares me with David Peterson a little bit. Then you got the Jesus Luzardo, 4.41 ERA, so his ERA is up there. He's got a 6-3 record, 97 strikeouts. Splits-wise, he has not faced the Mets this year. When he pitches at home, he does have a 4.39 ERA. The Mets are very good. They hit very well yesterday. This might be one of those rare occasions where we don't use a pitcher on DraftKings. Both of the offenses, the way the wind, the weather, everything is going, kind of scares me a little bit. Then we'll look at Outlier. If you've never used Outlier before, the link to sign up is down below. You get a 7-day free trial, so you can use it for all the games for all day, not just this game. 7-day free trial to their premium package. After those 7 days, if you still sign up with their normal package using the link that we provided at the beginning, which you can find down below, we're going to give you a week pass, a weekly pass to all sports. So you get a week of MLB, NASCAR, PGA, and MMA. If you go through 7 days of Outlier and then you decide to go to their premium package, and you show us proof that you used it, we are going to give you a free month of FTA Plus. So let's dig in just a little bit more using Outlier, how we like to use it. So if we are looking at this, we know the wind is blowing out. We know that it's hot and humid. Let's take a look at the Mets bats that have had success in their career versus Luzardo. Luis Torrens, 2 for 4 with a home run. Pete Alonso, I'm guessing that's 1 for 22, but that one hit was a home run. You've got Brandon Nimmo batting 250 with a home run. I believe he had 2 home runs yesterday. Juan Soto batting 385 against him with a home run. He had 2 home runs as well. Then we break it down a little bit further. So we looked at historical and BVP. Now we're going to look at batter splits here. So the Mets bats, looking at this, you've got Luis Torrens against lefties, 286 batting average. Acuna with 270. You've got Jeff McNeil batting 300. Again, it's only 20 at-bats. Soto does hit lefties better. 296 batting average and 71 at-bats with 3 home runs. Nimmo also has 3 home runs. Starling Marte has 2 home runs. Lindor batting 256 with 4 home runs as well. Now, Pete Alonso, 235 batting average as well. Just different guys look to just see the ball differently, whether or not it's lefty and righty matchup, if it's just depending on what you're at. So let's say that's the Mets bats against Philly. So then let's say Luzardo struggles. He doesn't get through 3 innings and the bullpen comes in. Now we have this on the website. You go to the MLB tab. You go down to MLB team bullpen stats. But currently Philly has the 6th worst bullpen with a 4.64 ERA, 24 saves, 250 hits, 132 earned runs, a 139 whip. So they are walking people. They've given up 36 home runs as well. So let's say Luzardo does not make it deep into this game. Then we get into the bullpen. Then it kind of makes sense for Philly. That's kind of how we're breaking that part down. So the bullpen will play a pivotal role, especially if both of these starting pitchers struggle because of what the weather's doing. So then Philly bats against Peterson, like Alec Boehm batting 375 and 24 at-bats with 2 home runs against him. You got Brandon Marsh 1 for 1 with a home run. Those are it for home runs. But then against lefties this year. Kyle Schwarber, he loves to hit against lefties. 277 batting average, 11 home runs in that. Trey Turner, 308 batting average, 3 home runs. Nick Castellanos, 310 batting average, a home run. Rojas, 255 batting average, a home run. Kepler, 222 batting average, a home run. They do hit home runs against them. Boehm, 289 batting average with 2 home runs against lefties in their career this year. So then we go in and we look at the Mets for their bullpen. The Mets bullpen, they're the 7th best. They got a 3.32 ERA, 22 saves, so kind of a low amount of saves. 246 hits, 104 earned runs, 126 whip, 22 home runs as well. So if this were in Citi Field, I'd feel a little bit more cautious about taking them because that's just a better pitcher's ballpark. This is in Philly. The way the wind is going, everything says the Mets might be the stack to go with just because of how bad Philly bullpen is. But obviously, we got to get both sides. We have to build lineups using both sides of the team. So you can't just have a full on Mets stack. You got to have some sort of option here. Now, normally, I would make a lineup using a pitcher or using both pitchers, which you could do. I mean, let's say, for instance, let's do a first lineup we're going to build. Let's just go contrarian lineup right now. Well, you can see and this is another reason we do like it, but you could do sports bets as well. So currently, Philly and the Mets, it's very even for money line. Minus 102 for the Mets, minus 101 for Philly. So Vegas doesn't even know what's going to happen. Run line, they've got the Mets as minus 1.5, and then total over under of 9.5. And you can see this is so out of their last 10 games, the Mets have only hit the over 4 times. Out of their last 10 games, same thing with Philly, 4 times as well. out of the last 10 games, Philly, when they've been a 1.5 point underdog, they've done it 80% of the time, so 8 of 10. And then Philly money line in their last 10 games, 80, so 8 of 10 as well. So you can use it for sports betting. You can do player props, team props, game props if you want as well. So everything is pointing towards building lineups without the pitchers. Let's do one lineup just to see what kind of lineup we can get with both pitchers in there. So for instance, let's say Luzardo shoves. Everyone thinks the Mets are going to dominate him. Let's say he shoves in this game. Okay, so we'll put him at the captain. Feel a little bit. Obviously, people will be off of that a little bit. So we're going to make multiple different lineups and different ways about it. So Luzardo's in there. Let's get both pitchers in there just in case somehow the Vegas odds are wrong, the over-under is wrong, the weather is wrong, and it's just a pitching duel throughout the whole thing. So we've got that. I think Alec Boehm made a ton of sense. 289 with 2 home runs against Peterson. 375 with 2 home runs as well. So I think Alec Boehm's going to go in there for me. So we're looking at that. Alvarez, I'm assuming he will be the starting catcher today. So we will put Alvarez in there. He's 4,400. He's very cheap compared. Now we're at 4,900 the rest of the way for 2. Let's go. I don't know if he'll start, but Ronnie Mauricio, game log wise, yesterday, 3 hasn't done a ton. But again, these are just early build lineups. Now you got 6,500. You can do Brett Beatty. You could do Jeff McNeil. You could do Edmundo Sosa, Starling Marte. So Starling Marte, we usually, what's he doing against lefties this year? Marte against lefties, 236 batting average, 4 home runs. It's not ideal, but I mean, those are what you're looking at. Otto Kemp's probably, I'm not looking at him. Acuna, probably not. Tyrone Taylor, I don't know if he gets in there, but he could. He's a $5,000 option. Against Phillies, 5 games, 2 hits, averaging 3.8 fantasy points per game. So obviously not a ton, but he's always in there. If you look at Marte against them, splits-wise, 3 games, 2.3. So he's not really averaging much either. Edmundo Sosa, splits-wise, 2 games played, 4 fantasy points. It's kind of where when you get down this low, it's kind of hard to figure it out. So Brandon Marsh, splits-wise, 2 games, 1 RBI, 7.5. Let's put a little bit of Marshy in there. So we got both pitchers here. Now, I don't know how much exposure I'll have to both pitchers, but this is just one build, one lineup that we can look at using both pitchers. Now, with DraftKings, with their captain spot, let's put Schwarber in the captain spot. Let's get a little crazy and put Schwarber in here. So if Schwarber's at the captain spot, I think Alec Boehm's got to be in all of my lineups. So I put Alec Boehm in there. Let's put Real Muto in there. What's Real Muto doing against lefties this year? Real Muto against lefties, 141. Not as ideally as you would think. It doesn't have a ton of success, but normally I want to take him. So I'm going to put Real Muto in there. I'm going to put Luzardo in there. And then we've got 5,100 the rest of the way. So let's go Tyrone Taylor. We did just talk about him. Maybe he has something in the tank here that we may not see. And then if Acuna gets in there, let's put Acuna in there at 4,800. So we've left 400 on the table. This is just another lineup where the pitcher is not the captain or MVP spot where you're playing. So let's do another one. If we look at Mets, you know what? I think I want to go with Juan Soto. Juan Soto had a huge game yesterday. What did he put up yesterday? 38 fantasy points, 2 home runs, 4 for 5, 2 runs, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 8,800. But now he's 13-12. So Soto's going to go in there. He's 13-12 here as my captain spot. I think I'm wondering, let's go with Castellanos. Castellanos usually hits a home run when bad things happen. We just bombed Iran. That's a bad thing for some people. Castellanos home run, maybe it's a guarantee. We don't know. We'll find out. He might hit one to deep left. We don't know. We'll go Alvarez here. We'll go with Mauricio, be a little bit cheaper option. We're at 10,900 for 2 spots available. Let's go Pete. Crazy Pete. I don't know what he's going to do. So now we're at 13-4. We could afford either pitcher. We could do Trey Turner. So we don't have either pitcher there. We've left 3,800 on the table. So let's take Mauricio out. We're now at 7,200. Go Real Muto, Max Kepler, Brett Beatty. Max Kepler against Peterson, I can't remember what it was. So we go back to outlier. We look at this. Kepler has never faced him before against lefties this year, 222 batting average. He does hit lefties better than righties. So let's put Max Kepler in there. We've left 600 on the table. You can update it. You can change it. If you don't trust Alvarez, maybe now we got 5K. Come down here. We look at Tyrone Taylor, Acuna, Brandon Marsh. Just depending. Alvarez. I still think I want to go with Alvarez here. So we're going to lock that lineup in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take out all the pitchers. We're going to see what kind of lineups we can build with no pitchers at all. So with the Mets bullpen, how good it is. Phillies bullpen, how bad it is. Both pitchers being in that situation where I don't know if I trust them enough. Let's build a full-on Mets stack here. So I'm going to put Lindor as my top. I'm going to put Trey Turner in there. And then let's go with Acuna. Let's go with Soto. Okay, let's go with Pete. And now we're at 4,900. So we can go through. Obviously, we've got the one Philly guy, so we're looking for Mets if this is a full Mets stack. So Alvarez could be in there. You could have Torrens. It depends on which catcher's in there, obviously. Go down. You could go Ronnie Mauricio. Again, we look at his game logs. Really hasn't done much. Doesn't play every day. He might not play. That's why you got to check your lineups back. We could go. Let's go Francisco Alvarez here. So we've got one Philly with it, which is Turner. We've got Lindor as our captain. Feel pretty comfortable with that. So let's build one more lineup. On the flip side, let's look for a Philly stack, a full Philly stack. So with the captain spot, looking at how they've done, we've done Schwarber already. We have not done Trey. I don't think we've done Trey Turner as the captain spot there. So let's do a majority here. So we'll go Trey Turner. We'll go Nimmo, who had 2 home runs yesterday. We haven't really put him in a lineup yet. Real Muto. Kind of one of those punts because I'm a little bit scared of that. Sosa. Lindor. And now we're at 6,400. So we could go with Brett Beatty. We could go McNeil, Starling Marte. But we're looking more towards Philly. So Otto Kemp, is he going to get in there? We'll start at first base and bat 6 splits-wise. Mets 2 games, 1 RBI, 5.5 game log. Decent in this series so far. He's gotten positive fantasy points. 261 batting average. You're not going to probably get home runs out of him, but if the wind is up there, he might catch one and have a fantastic day. So those are your DraftKings lineups. We are now going to move to FanDuel, which is a little bit different. As you can see, your MVP slot now will cost 1.5 times their normal salary, but will score 1.5 times more points. Now, no pitchers are in here. That's the big difference. I think there were pitchers last year. I cannot recall, but I do believe there were. So let's figure out what we're going to do with some of these lineups because the pricing is quite a bit different here. We're going to try a Philly heavy stack here. Schwarber's at the top. He's very expensive, but we can come down a little bit and we can find Nick Castellanos at 10,200. So a very cheaper option here that people are going to be like, what's going on? But again, 1.5 times their salary. It's a little bit different. So you can see we're building here. We got one more spot available. So that's the difference between FanDuel and DraftKings. The pricing is different. You have more salary, but you also have one more spot here. So let's go with Bohm. If we're going to do a full Philly stack, let's go Rojas. We haven't really talked about Rojas. And now we're at 11,200. Lindor at 10,400 makes sense. So there you go. Castellanos, Schwarber, Trey Turner, Bohm, Rojas, and Lindor make out this one. So that's one lineup. Okay. Now let's put an Alec Bohm at the MVP spot. So we'll put him at 12.6. I want to get Schwarber in there as well. I want to get Trey Turner in there. We're getting all the big guns in there. Castellanos makes sense down here. We're at 7,000 per person. Real Muto at 6,200. Now we're at 78. So Brandon Nimmo makes sense. Francisco Alvarez makes sense. I'm going to go Brandon Nimmo here. We've left 800 on the table. You can obviously update that and change that if you want. So those are 2 lineups that are Philly heavy. Now, what we want to do is, in my mind, if I'm looking at the games, I'm looking at what's going on, maybe a Mets heavy make a little bit of sense here. So with MVP spot, people are going to be, Pete Alonso makes sense. Juan Soto makes sense. They're very expensive. Lindor makes sense. what people aren't talking about, Brandon Nimmo as your MVP spot. So Nimmo, I want to put Lonzo in there. I want to put Juan Soto in there. I want to put Lindor in there. Marte, we haven't really talked about a ton today. And now we're at 9,700. So we got to get someone in there. Alec Bohm makes sense. Like, the numbers make sense for Alec Bohm. So you got Nimmo at the top for your MVP, all the way down. Your one Philly bat is Alec Bohm there. So then one final lineup. Let's try to do a 3-3 stack where it kind of makes sense for both teams, where it is a little bit more balanced. So final one, just looking at this, Juan Soto for MVP. I'm going to put Juan Soto in there. I'm going to put in Lindor. So I want to do a 3-3 stack here. Lindor and Marte, because he's a little bit cheaper. He's 5,000. Now, obviously, we've got to make sure all these guys are playing. So those are our three Mets guys. So if we're looking at Philly now, I think Bohm's got to be in almost every single one of your lineups. I love what he's bringing to the table now. Castellanos is another one. And then we're at 12,000. So 12,000, we've already got these guys. So we bring down to Brandon Nimmo at 7. So we're leaving. I mean, obviously, when you do a stack like this, you're going to leave a lot on the table. So we don't want that. We want 3-3. You got Real Muto. You got Bryson Stott. We really haven't talked about Bryson Stott. Game log wise, didn't do anything yesterday. But you could see prior to that, he's had some good games. 240, 5 home runs. If we look at Stott here, did I say Bryson Stott. 222 batting average against lefty. So not ideally. And he's over 2 against Peterson. So, but anything can happen with the weather. And especially if they get to the game or the bullpen early, you got a Bryson Stott there. You could put him in there. You've left 6,000 on the table. So obviously you can always change it up. So if you want to go Marte out of there, we're at 11,000. I mean, you can't. We've used all the big guys at that price. So that's the only thing. If you're looking maybe a Brandon Nimmo instead of Marte. So we've left 4,000 on the table. So Soto, Lindor, Nimmo, and then you got Bohm, Castellanos, and Bryson Stott as your final lineup. So those are kind of just the breakdowns of what you could expect. Both DraftKings on Fanduel. If you want to see the full breakout, you want to see all of the batters that we like. So in today's main video, every single game, except for this game, we went through them. We looked at the pitchers, we looked at matchups, historical matchups, batter splits. Then we gave 3 top batters on each game. If you want to take a look at that, that'll be linked here at the end of the video. We also went through our Pitches Be Crazy segment. We went through some of our favorite bets for the day. Over under 1.5 bases, strikeouts for the pitchers. We've got it all covered for you. It is a longer video, but the more you guys watch it, the more it helps out the channel. So watch these videos in their entirety. Click on the ads, subscribe to the channel. Have a great day. Check out what we've got going on for MLB. We've got NASCAR information. This week we'll have MMA, we'll have PGA on top of MLB every single day. So that's what I've got. Let's have a great Sunday, whether or not you're DFSing, whether or not you're sports betting, whether or not you're playing the full day or just this single game. Let's have a great day. Good luck. And as always, bring home some bacon. Peace.